everyone, for this review we have the Playmates Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1988 Remastered series, which is part of their 40th anniversary for Ninja Turtles. So these are more or less meant to be upgraded versions of the original figures that came out in 1988. Not to be confused with what Super 7 did with their Ultimates line. And we'll compare these later on in the review. So starting off, the package art is really nice. It's very colorful. They're using the original logo work. This is mostly associated with the cartoon, but technically the toys came out before the cartoon did. You get to see the 40th logo. You get to actually see all four turtles on the packaging and get this nice brick layout, multicolored brick layout. Each figure has this on the top, so it's identical on each. On the side, you're going to get a little call out of each figure. On the other side, it's just going to show you that you can collect all four of these. And they kind of form a diorama. The bases will connect together. And this is very reminiscent of the NECA release that came out like 20 years ago. They also had a very similar street scene type thing where it was like half street, half sidewalk. It had a little bit more accessories to it, like fire hydrants and stuff, but is very similar to that. So on the back is going to be the same for all of them. It shows all four turtles, tells you you can collect them, and it just gives a little call out about how these came from 1988. So that is the packaging, or the outside of the packaging. Let's start opening up these guys. All right, so this is Leo's packaging. He is going to come with this base. This is Michelangelo's packaging. And this is his base, and it looks identical to Leo's. Yeah, it is identical to Leo's. This is Donatello's. And so it looks like all the bases are identical. And there are pieces. We'll get into that more in a moment, but there are pieces that attach to the bases. And last, we have Raphael. That's what he comes with. And he's got the same base. Okay. So we'll get all of them out of the package here, and then we'll go over the figures in depth. Okay, so here they are out of the box. We won't go into the displays just yet, but as shown earlier, the displays are pretty much all the same. Each figure comes with two pieces that snap to the display. So that's how each piece becomes unique. So, for instance, Raphael, he's got this smokestack. That's kind of interesting. It makes me think of something somebody would store in a little secret uh, vault. And he's got these stairs, and pretty much each display has these holes. So just basically find a place to insert the piece. I'm not sure where these larger pieces go. There is a square here. This doesn't really snap. Um, and there is a hole here, but these pieces don't have parts that fit to the holes. So from what I can tell, they're just gonna kind of sit there. They they don't really snap in, which is it's weird, but it's not the worst thing ever. So that's Raphael's. Donatello has this piece, which is a AC condenser, and he's got a little what do you call these? A little air vent, convection air vent. So this little guy will go on the round post, and then this guy you just stick him wherever. So that's Donatello. Okay, so for Michelangelo, he's got another, I guess, a vent type piece and some more vent type pieces. Um, so, oh, this is actually, sorry, this is a TV dish. So this will stick in there. And again, this piece just kind of goes somewhere. So that's Mikey's. And then last, Leo also has an antenna, like a TV antenna, and a skylight. So his TV antenna, and you don't have to stick it to the side. You can put it anywhere, but that'll go there. This just kind of sits there somewhere, and that's how his display looks. Okay, so there's a lot to go over. each each figure will come with 2 stars and these blades, just like the original toys had. Then they'll come with their standard weapon and then some kind of gnarly, crazy version of their weapon. So Raphael has, his size. One thing to note is all the all of the major weapons have painted handles, which is unusual for Playmates. Um, Also, if you didn't know, these figures retail $13.99. So not $20, not $30, $13.99, which is incredible. They don't have the best articulation ever. We'll get into that, but they are no slouch either. So I commend Playmates for this price point they came up with. So Roth has his size. He's got this crazy, wow, double hammer thing. It's cool. It's cool. Um, Another thing I commend them for, they're doing their best to sell something to an adult, but make it fun for a kid. Um, Everybody wins. That's the cool thing. Donatello comes with his bow, which I just showed. And he's got a bow with two maces on the end, which is kind of crazy, but cool. Michelangelo comes with two nunchucks, with a real chain on each one, which is amazing, especially for the price point. And then he's got these, forgot what these are called. I can't remember, but we'll just call it blade for right now. But these two blades that are connected with a rope or metal wire or something. So that's kind of cool. And then Leo, he's got his two broadswords, ninja swords. And then he's got this crazy looking Klingon battle axe type thing, which can be held, it can be held like this, or it can be held, kind of like a baton almost. So he can hold that different ways. All right, so there's the accessories. Now for the figures, we'll go over the articulation. Um, the heads are on ball joints. The range of motion's limited because the neck is so tall and the hole is so big. So you're not going to get a lot of crazy movement, but you know, you got movement. You got disc hinge shoulders. You do have an elbow bend. It is not much. It doesn't even get you to 90, but still, I mean, the figures normally don't have this at all. And there is a wrist swivel, and there's no wrist bend. The shoulder, wow, the upper hips are disc hinge that turn. There are knees, they give you 90. And the feet don't do a lot, but they do twist. So that's way more than your average Ninja Turtle. Okay, so I want to do some comparisons real quick because that is going to be where you're going to notice the value that you're getting with these. So I want to show this off. This is kind of old at this point, but you had some similar articulation, same type of head, shoulder, elbow, no wrist articulation, um, only disc hinge. Well, actually, same as these disc hinge with a twist, more at an angle. You did have a knee bend, but nothing with the feet. So these are a slight upgrade to these guys, and the size is pretty close. These guys are a tad bit taller. Um, then actually let's do this. Then we have the retro, and I think these are slightly different than the original 80s. So just keep that in mind. This isn't like a really true absolute comparison to the originals, but this is a facsimile of the original. But it does represent the articulation. So everything was like just single rotation hinge. Except for the legs. The legs had a disc hinge. Well, no, I'm sorry. The legs had a ball joint. So you had to do some creative things to get the legs to do what you want, and they're very limited. So this is what they are trying to better themselves on. So original and 40th. And just to kind of give a further comparison, here's the Super 7. And, the Super 7 is trying to do some really big things here. They're going into like a very extreme modern adult collectible type thing. Way more articulation. Sculpt looks a lot more mature. This is the alternate head, but they came with heads that were very similar to the original toys. So, you basically are going from this to this to this as far as like uh price point, articulation, sculpt, so on. Um, I've seen a lot of people complain about the texture. I don't have a problem with the texture, and I think what I mean, I'm guessing, but I think maybe the texture is meant to replicate the duotone from the comic. So imagine, black and white dots used for cross hatching. I think that's what they're trying to do. And I'd be surprised if there's not like a black and white version, even though these don't represent comic turtles. They may be trying to bridge some type of comic style into the toy turtles. That's the only thing I can think of. Um, the actual Mirage turtles don't have dots, but they have like this molded in cross hatching texture. So that is my guess why they did it. Now it could be that they're trying to replicate like amphibian reptilian detail. That could be. Maybe they're trying to make these a little bit more realistic looking. But the there's you can go online and see original artwork for like the mock-ups for these toys, and I've never seen any of them with the dot patterns on them at all. So that might be where it's coming from. I don't know. So there are your comparisons. So overall, these to me are pretty amazing. I am very surprised by the price point. I think the accessories are pretty nice. Um, the display bases were not required, but they gave us display bases, and they didn't have to. The only thing I don't like about the display bases is that the large pieces don't have a place to snap in, and I would have preferred there to be some type of tier system. So like this would be like on top of this, and then there'd be something to hold it up in the back. But it's okay. Again, they didn't have to do this at all, and they included these pieces. So good work on them. So that's the review. Uh, these are starting to show up. In the past 3 days, I have been to 5 or 6 Walmarts, and I've seen these in two. So they're part of some type of department refresh. So uh, if your Walmart is decently large, you're gonna find a pallet out in the main aisle of the toy shop, um, like a half half of a pallet section, half of a square, and it's going to be these guys. So if you're walking around and you see a pallet display of mutant mayhem turtles, look on the side and you're going to see these guys. So if you haven't found them yet, they should be showing up soon. Don't uh, don't necessarily go out to eBay and pay exorbitant prices for these. Although, you could go to eBay and pay a little bit extra and then you don't have to worry about driving around and hunting for them. So this depends on what you want to do. But if you're patient enough, I'm sure there's going to be tons of these, especially for the price point. I don't think this is some kind of limited thing. They're going to flood the toy aisles with these figures soon. So just be on the lookout. So that's the review. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. And as always, tune into more videos coming up. Thank you.